impromptu surprise review live stream. I just got in a whole new set of ships, and they're so damn good looking that I really wanted to show them off. First things first, I got all of these from Johnny Turbo. You can find him in the Navis Nobelite server. His quality of print and his quality of just service in general is phenomenal. So I am happy to get ships and stuff from him. He is also reasonably close, which also is a big help. If you're in the States, Johnny Turbo is a great place to go because I'm going to be showing off all this stuff that he printed. Now, there were some stuff that had some problems. He immediately, went beyond apologizing and replaced the things that were broken. So today I'm going to start with some of Fusion Shipyards' works. Now, I love Fusion Shipyards. The guy himself is awesome. He's a very nice gentleman. And I'm starting with some of a ship that I got as basically a bunch of freebies from Johnny, and I wanted to show them off because they just look good. Now, this is the Demiurg or Votan. Sorry, there's some goop on it. That's my fault. It's super glue. But yeah, this is the Votan light cruiser. As you can see, it is pretty decently sized. I'm just going to compare it to this is a cruiser. This is a standard cruiser from the Vanguard shipyard. So these are actually a little bit larger than your standard Imperial cruiser, but Votan ships, this is meant to basically depict a light cruiser. This could also easily depict either the Bastion or the Citadel. So getting in a look at the detail, it does definitely have a unique feel to it. It does have a sort of human-like design, which is what the Votan effectively are. They're just heavily modified space humans. We can see the weapons batteries here. We can see the lance batteries there. The torpedo tubes. I assume those are torpedo tubes. Either launch base or torpedo tubes right there. The dorsal weapons, turn it on the side. It's an exact mirror. It has 3 nice and big engines. Sorry about the fluff. A decent bridge. I've always liked these designs. These are actually a really cool look of a ship that... Oh, here's where the launch bays are. Okay, that's another way to put it. And, of course, the cutting beam in the prow. I like this design because the guy who made it, William, I believe, is his name, spent the time to actually read the Votan book and care about the lore and the fact that Votan are just humans that followed down an entirely separate path. And while they are abhuman, disgusting abhumans, their technology is still human. So it's going to look like human in nature, but it will have deviated. And that's definitely a look that you get from these ships. And there's a whole series of ships that you can make an entire Imperial Navy fleet from this design if you want. You could make a Demiurg fleet from this. We're still working on Book of the Void 2's Demiurg to add in a little more flavor and character, but still looks great. Easily converted into a human ship if you want a different look and feel. But yeah, I like how it is close enough to Imperial, but not Imperial enough. It's that nice fine line. It's in the what's the word I'm looking for? It's in the oh God, I can't believe I can't remember the name. It's regardless, it's close. It's close but far. It's enough to look just different enough to be separate. So the other thing that Fusion Shipyard made was his own take on the Imperial design. Now these are a pair of 2 separate kinds of light cruiser. You can use them obviously as dauntlesses. You have the 2 options for them. You have I assume this is a lance dauntless. It doesn't actually seem to have a lance on it, but it doesn't have the torpedo tubes. And as you can see here are the torpedo tubes. It's if you want your dauntlesses to look better than just kind of the dumpy pewter thing. It's a neat design. It is loaded with detail. It is a very pretty little pair of ships. Scale-wise, they're about the size of a Dauntless. I would say maybe a hair longer. So comparing it again to a Vanguard cruiser, they're obviously a light cruiser and too big for an escort. So all in all, a fantastic little set of cruisers made by Fusion Shipyards. I highly recommend. Or is it Arcane Shipyards? I think it's Arcane. You get it. What's in the description is the actual name. Now, this next one is a big boy. Oh, it is a huge lump of resin, but it is so friggin' pretty. This is the Tribune Victory battleship. It is a huge vessel. Made by a guy on Cults 3D. You can just look up the Tribune on Cults 3D. Jasmine Bob, what do you make a? You got to finish your statement there. But this is actually pretty much one giant piece of pewter. I'm sorry, not a pewter, of resin. This cannon here is a bit, and these two cannons underneath are a bit. Now be careful of these, they're very fragile. But again, Johnny Turbo made this. You want another size comparison? Here is the Vanguard battleship, your Dreadnought. And this, as you can see, this thing's even bigger. This is Gloriana size in scale. It is filled with detail, but not too much detail. It's not noisy, if that makes any sense. So if you're painting this, you're not going to be troubled by the horrors of itty-bitty, teeny-tiny little detail all day, every day. And as you can see, there's a nice hawk on the top of the prow. It just is gorgeous on every level. The engines look great. This kind of quality is the kind of thing that I genuinely wish we would see more of. But it is positively beautiful and monumental. Now, what I would recommend is if you were to buy one, buy the STL of this, which I always recommend because it's a Battlefield Gothic Mini. This is probably going to be a display piece, something you're going to put in your shelf and be like, look at this beautiful thing as it sits there. Obviously, I'm going to probably drill out a larger hole because the stem just isn't big enough for the hole for it to sit Stanley. However, it is just a fantastic and beautiful mini. I highly recommend it. I'm going to have this sent off to James Wapple to get it painted as I know this is not technically canon, but I don't care, as a Custodes ship, because it has that sort of regal and beautiful feel. So, but the final thing that I'm doing, is I gently put him down because I don't want him to break, are the Dark Eldar ships from Soulforge. Now, I got these kind of on a whim because I wasn't necessarily anticipating a gigantic need for Dark Eldar, but when I got them and I realized how cool they were, I really decided that I wanted to show these off, assuming I can figure out how to assemble them. So, what I really like about this design, if you see these ridges, it corresponds to ridges on the inside of the prow. So it clicks nicely into the bay and sits nice and firm, really, really nicely in there. So I am literally trying to figure out how they work on here. Obviously, that doesn't fit. Here we go. So we have a hook bay here. It'll fit on the underside. It has a nice large stem, which I always appreciate. So, how do these work? I have multiple heads for it. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm trying to figure this out on stream, which is half the fun. Does that go in here somehow? What are you for? Interesting. Okay, so you obviously go on the top in there. Okay, we have that. That goes there. Okay, that's fine. So this is the Terror Cruiser. I'm gonna actually start gluing this thing. I'm actually gonna keep it together. So, by the way, thank you everyone for coming and joining me in this kind of impromptu review video. So I'm not a giant fan of the classic Dark Eldar, nor am I a particularly big fan of Italian Moose's one. I don't think he put a lot of effort into those. They don't look particularly Dark Eldar-y. They don't look particularly fancy. So I tried to look around for an alternative, and there was the Soulforge one. I wasn't hugely impressed. No one seems to really have made a really impressive Dark Eldar ship, but that is a really good-looking design. It's definitely different, but if you actually look at the starship midsection here, it actually is very reminiscent of the old Eldar ships, because they do have these sort of technological areas in the center with all the fanciness elsewhere. Okay, where did... Oh, that's where that goes. So these are launch bays. Okay, that's clever. I actually really like that. Okay, that is clever. Oop, he lost his hook. That's a terrible shame. Many such cases, losing one's hook. As you can see, the lower hook does not extend all the way to the whole critical piece of infrastructure there, because the last thing you need is for you to have a mini that doesn't fit anywhere. Now this actually looks like it's supposed to go here. Yeah, okay, so it actually has that sort of swept wing solar sail look, which is actually pretty freaking clever. Even if the Dark Eldar don't use them, it still looks cool. All right, well, why don't we put this thing together appropriately? Assuming the glue will ever come out. Come on, here we go. Okay. But which version should I put on here? I feel like there's something else that should go with that, so I'm gonna put this one on. Of course, the bottom hook is always gonna be the problem, and the top hook then falls off. Yeah! Good job, I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of my Dark Eldar already. They're already proving to be just as annoying to build as the original ones. Okay. So here we have this underslung thing. It goes in there. Okay. Oops. And of course the top comes off. That's okay. As they say, that's life. Yeah, you can, Anthony Dale said, slot for an impaler. Maybe. I'm not seeing any bits for it though, so I'm gonna have to look. I'm curious to see what the impaler module does look like on these things. So. So there is the, of course glue only sticks to your fingers. So here we go. There's that. Now there's nothing that appears to go in these slots. It may be in a different bag. Oh, no, there, I found them. I do have them. They were just in... They were well hidden. Interesting. Okay. So we have lots of different choices. We have large hook. We have large spiky things. I like spiky things. So let's put more spikes on it. Let's make this thing a actual health hazard. Let's make this an OSHA violation, just like the old style Dark Eldar were. So, OSHA violation number 1, if I can get it in there. Here we go. So there we go. Nice, handy, dandy OSHA violation. Oh, dang it. There we go. Got to make it fit set in there. And where's my other OSHA violation? Ooh, as it runs away. OSHA violation number 2 fits in there. So Dark Eldar are a unique fleet. They only have 2 classes of ship, which means you have to build a ship, which is, if you look at my videos, I kind of lament that there are no solid. Oh, that looks good. I like that. Get in there. Get in. Ah, dang it. Ah. Super glue, ladies and gentlemen. Proving once again that it is the most useless and most essential kind of glue. Sigh. Okay. Well, he just doesn't want to play ball, does he? No, he will. Like all things, the glue will set. So this is pretty small for a cruiser, but then again, the Dark Eldar ships were always small. But they do have some bits here. Oh, there's a little bit of flash on here. Let me knock that off. Right on the back end of the bridge. That's fine to fall off if I'm going to take this flash off. There we go. There we are. So find the top again because it keeps falling off. Not so super glue. Yep. It's the one. It's the great curse of all BFG and all BFG players. Super glue isn't. So, interestingly, it does come with a really interesting set of options for the final slots. You have these Eldar-style wings and more hooks. And I really like these Eldar-style wings. I think I'm going to put them on there. Solely because a lot of Dark Eldar ships are mistaken for Eldar ships. And it makes it, unironically, it makes the ship look bigger and more imposing. Because one of the biggest problems with the original Dark Eldar ships is that they never really looked that great. They unironically looked like sex toys. And while it was really funny for the time, personally, I would have much preferred a better designed ship. And now in the most recent video games, they did give them new models, and the models do look a lot better. Nobody really has ever... The people have taken those models out. They have taken them out of the game, but they don't really translate well to the tabletop because you can see the geometry of the models from when they actually put it into the game, and it doesn't translate well to the mini, which is a little sad. But these are actually really freaking nice. I actually really like these. Let me get these last wings. Like all Eldar wings, it is hard to put them in. They will never stay. So be warned. It is standard issue Eldar construction of a ship, which means it'll be a pain in the ass. It'll take forever to set, and eventually it'll break. All right, look at that. Okay, that looks really good. I'm actually really impressed by this. Hold on, let me get this thing onto a stand. There we go. So here we are, a Dark Eldar cruiser. That looks really good. Now, it's a little bit chunky in the front, probably because of the launch bays and the way they're designed. But overall, it looks interesting. I love it's meant to be a different technology. It's meant to be a different design. It's meant to, stand apart from their Eldar kin. These ships were meant to compete back in the days of their old empire with the other two designs of the Eldar. And with this look, I could see that. I could see how that looks. And they look just different enough. Some people may be turned off by the more square shape. The bottom hook seems erroneous with the wings, but it looks good. But I actually like it. I really like this design. Even if the wings are there just solely for the look of it, I like it. So let's move on. I actually did want to show you another prow, because I got a lot of these guys. So the other prow, as you can see, has a dark lance. And again, a lot of these cool voided areas, these open spaces on them. So that one there are two designs for the lance prow. One has that weird void area. I don't know if I actually got a one with the Impaler module. Let me see. Oh, I definitely did. Definitely did. So here is, let me get that zoom working. The Impaler, you can actually see both Impalers there. That's design number one. It is cool that Soulforge provided multiple designs. And there's number two. Let's see, what about the keel weaponry? Oh, that's cool. They actually have engines. The way overpriced because it is, but again, if you're playing Dark Eldar, it's a matter of fun. So here's another bid option for the side, a nice spiky engine. Always good. Nothing wrong with spiky engines. And there are different top claw options. This one is a filled in as opposed to, this one is a cutout as opposed to fill in. I'm just making sure I'm showing you all the different bits options so you're not bereft of them. So there's no underslung bit for the Impaler. That way I assume it's so you can actually see the second Impaler as it launches. When it comes to the Pulsar Lance, again, it doesn't have an underslung option. That's only for the launch bay. Now, personally, when I'm playing with them, I'm going to be doing a lot of proxying because there's not really a lot of a reason to ever take that many cruisers. But let's pull out one of the escorts. Assuming I can figure out how these things work. Okay, so the escorts appear. So we have a very spiky engine. I'm going to move this stuff away. Sorry, everybody. So we have a spiky engine section. Always good. We have a spiky middle section. Again, always good. The one with the cross-slit is just aesthetic. And we have a prow. Okay, so that set is for prows. I have another set. Yeah, so there are individual different bodies depending on the weapon. So the body is determined here. So this one is an Impaler module. Notice that it has a knife for knife fighting. And this one here has a Dark Lance. I have to get that zoom just right so you can see it. So that one's a Dark Lance. So what I'm probably going to do is actually pop off this top and replace it with the other one because it just looks cooler. I just didn't want to put something on that I wasn't supposed to. So, the Dark Eldar, everybody. Let me see if I can actually remove this. Yes, I can. Woo! Let me slide that one on. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Yeah, this is the Dark Eldar from Soulforge Studios. Woo! As I break it again and again and again. There we go. Get on there. So, as you can see, that's what it looks like with that cutout. Makes it look very dramatic. Very, very impressive. So, what I love about these is, again, like everything from Soulforge, they care about modularity. So, you have a lot of options for every bay that you have. I'm actually going to assemble this little escort dude. So, the escort go together easily. There is a keyhole, and the key and the hole. Let's see how they fit together. They fit together very smoothly, very nicely. So let me glue it together for you. The central bit has a large hole for the stem. So fit them together. Now these are, I would say, about Firestorm size. They're big but not huge on the escort scale. And of course, they refuse to stay together. If they stayed together, that would be terrible. And of course, it flies into a place where I have no idea where the hell it went. Where did you go? Did you fall? Where did you fall to? There you are, just underneath the carrier. So get that in there, and now we have to sit and wait. Now you have to enjoy the dulcet sounds of my voice. Enjoy. So yeah, the design is very standardized. The prow fits on those handy little slits. That is very handy. Makes it for easy construction of the ship. I would say that the key may be a little big to get a perfect fit for the rear part, but nobody's perfect. And if you talk to your friendly neighborhood 3D printer, they could probably reduce the size on it while they're getting it ready to print. Get a little bit of glue on there. And then we take its prow and we just kind of slide it on. And suddenly you have a cute little knife fighter. Look at that. Ready for a night on the town in the streets of Baltimore. Oop. As he falls apart, like I said, Baltimore. Yeah, so as you can see, it fits in there. Give me a moment, come on. You can fit together. I believe in you. I believe. There we are. Look at that. And that looks infinitely better than the Escort. No question about it. The original Eldar, Dark Eldar Raider Escort pales in comparison to how good this looks. It is just a better ship. So let me see if we can get a decent zoom. Oh, come on. Absolutely. I'm just trying to make sure that it's not. There we go. So we have a good amount of cute detail. Got that impaler on the bottom. That's just a knife. Yeah, so that's the Dark Eldar ships. There's only 2 classes, but there's a ton of options. Soulforge Studio makes great work. I highly recommend them. Now, you have to find a printer for getting them. As it turns out, Johnny has the stuff. Johnny has those files. So if you want to go and get those printed out and have yourself a really nice looking Dark Eldar fleet, definitely do so. I am absolutely going to be sending these to Wapple for painting. I was thinking about doing a red tone Tron theme from the original 1980s movie because of the look of this bay here. Looks so retro sci-fi. I absolutely love it. Anyway, I got to go and help my wife. Otherwise, she is going to go break my kneecaps, and I really want to avoid that. So I wish you all the best, and thank you all so much for coming and watching this video. Go buy stuff from Johnny Turbo. Buy stuff from all of the 3D designers that I just showed you. Have a great day.